Hey there, comic book fans. It's Rusty again with Collector Auctions, and here I am in the car again, headed to Third Eye Comics in Annapolis, Maryland for another new comic book day. Now, you guys know that I order most of my new comics through a subscription service with mnmcomics.com. It's a service that I've used for over 24 years at this point. And the reason I started with that service back in the day, and even with a service right before that, I used Lee Tenant before that for a few years, was because I grew up in southern West Virginia, and there were no comic book shops to go to. There was no new comic book day for me. So I ordered all my new comics that way. And what was great about that back in the day was you used to get 35% off of all of your new comic books. Well, 24, 30 years later, it's still the same way. You put that pre-order in, generally everything's 35% up to 50% off of cover price. And man, that's a big savings today because of how expensive the books are. I mean, it's still an expensive order if you order as many books as I do. But think about if you didn't have that discount, how much more that would be. That would greatly impact the collecting hobby at this point. I mean, it still does, don't get me wrong. But once I got into the Baltimore area and I've got new comic book shops in the area, and I started being able to go to New Comic Book Day, that didn't mean that I stopped my subscription service. What I did was, and I did this very quickly, was I used New Comic Book Days to supplement my pre-order. There are a lot of books when I'm doing my pre-order that I might miss ordering. They just weren't on the radar. There might be variants that are not being shown yet, that maybe the art's not available when I do that pre-order, but they show up now. I mean, here's New Comic Book Day, and there's definitely some covers today that I'm going to pick up. And today's a great example of exactly how I use this on basically a weekly basis. Is there are no comic books that I failed to pre-order for this New Comic Book Day, but there are some variants that I want to pick up because they were not on my radar. They weren't advertised when I did that pre-order. So I'm going to go down to Third Eye here. I'm going to take some footage like I normally do, pick up a few of the books, and then I'm going to get home and I'm going to film everything that I pick up today, and we'll talk about New Comic Book Day a little bit more. So give me a few moments and sit back, enjoy the footage of Third Eye, and I'll be back and we'll show off all the books. everybody. I just finished up at Third Eye Comics here in Annapolis, Maryland, and I'm headed home. Once I get there, I'll bag and board everything I picked up, and I'll show off everything there. So give me a few moments, and I'll be right back.
One eternity later.
All right, everybody, I got back home, bagged and boarded all the comics, so let's just get right into it. So most of the new comics I picked up this week were things that were not on my radar. They're variant covers for the most part. And these are things that when I do my pre-order 2 to 3 months in advance, they may not even have that art available at that time. And that's usually why it's not on my radar. But when it comes to New Comic Book Day, they're completely on my radar. And that's what I use New Comic Book Day for the most part. Sometimes I completely miss pre-ordering something. But for the most cases, it's things that weren't on the radar and just things that were not advertised as much. So let's just get into it. The first book, though, is definitely something that was on my radar and I completely missed ordering, and it was Feral number 4. It is the ongoing series from the creators of Stray Dogs, Tony Fleecs and Trish Foistner, and a series I continue to enjoy, although I do not buy the variant horror movie poster variant covers anymore. I do continue with the regular series just because I enjoy reading that. The next book here, the next 2 books, actually 2 books, are variant covers I wanted to pick up. This right here is X-Men 97, number 4, and it got this beautiful, I have to write this down because I can't remember how to say it. It's Maiko Suyan cover right there. That is spectacular. I love that cover. That's a book that if I see him at a convention, I'd have to take that to get signed. So that was really cool. I've enjoyed the X-Men 97 series, but I've enjoyed some of the variants, especially with this. I'm ordering the regular cover. That's why I did not pick that up this week, but I did get the variant right here. I also picked up the new variant. This is the 3rd printing to X-Men 97, and it's got the animated cover right there. I think it's very much like the 2nd printing. I think they did the same thing, but it's a different color border, but it's a 3rd printing. I went ahead and picked it up because I've been enjoying picking up most of the variants to at least issue number 1 right there. This was something that was not on my radar, but going to Third Eye Comics, it was one of their certified cool books of the week, and as a member of their Wednesday Warrior Elite Club, and you can see I'm wearing the shirt, although it's a little hard to see right there. I've got the logo, the shirt. One of the things you can do is if you're one of the first 5 people in the door and you present them with the coin that represents your membership, you can get one of the certified cool books of the week free, and that's what I did with the Thanos annual number 1 here. They only had the regular cover as the cool book of the week. They did not have, I think they had a Frank Miller and they had a Scotty Young cover on these. I probably would have preferred that cover to this one, but hey, a free comic book is a free comic book. All right, let's set those down. Now, my favorite cover of the week was this right here, a book that was not on my radar when it came out, and it's not my favorite from this artist, but it's still really good. It is Zatanna, Bring Down the House, number 1. You got Art Germ right there, and that is a beautiful cover. It's not my favorite female illustration that he's done on covers, but it's really good. It's good enough for me to go ahead and buy the foil variant as well. And this was just a regular, wasn't an expensive ratio or anything like that. It's just a foil variant. So I picked those up. And speaking of covers, just beautiful covers of beautiful women in comics. We've got the 2nd issue of Spider-Gwen, the Ghost Spider, and the artist on this, Villalobos. Pablo Villalobos, right? I'm probably mispronouncing that really bad. This is a really good cover. They actually had the Virgin variant as available as well, but I didn't pick that up. I didn't like it enough to pay $50 for it. I'll put it that way. But still a great cover right there. I did pick this up because I love Scotty Young, and it's a whole book of giant-sized little Marvels from Scotty Young. This was not on my radar when it was advertised, but it popped up, obviously, for this week, and I'm going, man, I got to check this out. Usually you just get covers. You don't get whole stories. So it's going to be interesting because I really enjoy Scotty Young's writing, actually more than his artwork, believe it or not. So we'll see how this goes. I'm sure I'll enjoy that. It looks like a fun little book. Let's put these down as well. And then the last new comic book that I picked up for this week that I didn't pre-order was this right here. It is the 3rd issue of Creature from the Black Lagoon. One of my favorite monsters when I was really into the monster scene back in like 4th and 5th grade. I was reading the famous monsters from Movieland magazine. I read books on monsters, and A Creature from the Black Lagoon was always one of my favorite monsters. And I'm enjoying this series so far from Boom Studios. So those are the books that I picked up for New Comic Book Day. But I did spend a little bit more time in Third Eye, and I ended up picking up a couple copies of this right here. It is Space Ghost #2 from Dynamite. And I had to get this variant cover, and like I said, I've got 2 of them here. It is the artist is Michael Cho, and Michael Cho is going to be in Baltimore this fall, and I wanted to get a couple copies of this. I missed it when it came out on the stands at that first week, but luckily at Third Eye, they have so many back issues. Well, when I say back issue, new comic books come out, and everything for that week goes up on one wall. But after that week, it transfers over to a much bigger wall that they literally will have new copies of comics going back sometimes even more than a year. You can find new copies of comics there, and occasionally, even if it's a really popular book, sometimes they will go back in and restock sometimes and put some more books on the stands. And even though I had missed this when it came out on New Comic Book Day, I went back and they did have some copies in their new, I guess it would be the back issue wall, but it's sort of like the new issue back issue wall, if that made any sense at all. But anyway, I picked up a couple copies of this. I plan to take this to the Baltimore Comic Con and get Michael Cho to sign that. I love his artwork on just about everything he does. I think he really excels when his designs have this 3-dimension kind of design to it. When it's kind of flat, it's not quite as good, but when it has some dimension to it here, definitely that always adds something to his artwork. So I think it has design actually goes into it more than illustration sometimes. But anyway, guys, that's it. Real quick, New Comic Book Day. You guys got to let me know what you picked up this particular week. If you like the books, definitely give me a comment in the comment section. If you didn't like them, yeah, give me a comment in the comment section. So I appreciate it. But guys, thank you for joining me today. If you guys enjoy this kind of content each and every week, definitely hit that like button, slap the subscribe, and click on that notification bell. My shows come out each week, Mondays and Fridays at 10 a.m. Hope you can join me. I do live chats each week for the most part. So join in. 10 o'clock rolls around, join the channel. Let's have a live chat while the show's going on. Love to hear from you guys. Anyway, guys, my voice is giving out again. You guys take care. Have a great day. And remember, every comic has a story.